Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Triangle Offense. We're back after a great weekend of basketball. I'm Monish and I have Nishant here with me. We'll not talk about yesterday's games because the Lakers just mauled the Warriors. It was a game to forget. The Lakers are back. Also, I should say the Warriors are back. They're down to eighth.
Yeah.
But Lakers really look like the team that we expected them to be. Just the addition of Dennis Schroeder to LeBron James, I think that is an amazing.
Right.
Yeah, you add Anthony Davis into the mix, and I'm like, okay, why are we even doing all of this? It's Lakers, and we'll see who finishes on the other end. But we'll not talk about the Lakers today. We'll not talk about the Warriors. We'll talk about Miami Heat, who also have been having a great upsurge in their form. A week or 10 days ago, they lost to the Warriors in overtime, and they were 13th in the Eastern Conference. And I didn't see any upside for this team. I thought they were going down. I didn't expect Miami to do the tanking, and I thought they were going that route. But then 6 wins out of 6 after that, and then now suddenly sitting in place in the Eastern Conference. What turned around for the Miami Heat?
They got a bunch of players back, didn't they? And even then, initially, they looked a bit woeful. Like, even after Butler came back, I think they lost more games than they won in their first 9 or 10 games. And it's strange, right? It's like, I guess it's how fragile their winning methodology was last season. And probably that's their big learning. The takeaway from all this is, what is the thing that we praised Miami? Of course, org culture and all that, but that's still there. That hasn't changed. I think the one thing in play style and schemes that they got a lot of praise for was off the ball movement, spacing, vision of multiple players on the court, chiefly Dragic and Butler, to there's always that extra pass. It's the Popovich Spurs methodology, right? There's always that extra pass where you get the ball to the open guy or the guy with the highest percentage shot, and you do it with a greater degree of consistency than most teams. And so you're taking better shots, higher percentage of scoring, and you're smart like that. That's your offense. And then with Butler and Bam, you have a lot of spacing that's being created. Butler's an excellent passer, Dragic's a great passer. They're both decent shooters. And that's pretty much what got them off. Plus, Hero went off in the bubble and all of that happened last year. What changed though? Because this season, so far at least, they've led the league in turnovers. And they're atrocious. Like, it's not forced turnovers. It's not, somebody playing hero dribble with the ball, no pun intended, and they lost possession. It's just, forget the extra pass. So many times there are turnovers on the first pass made on a sequence. Half court set, first pass, turnover, straight to the other team. It's inexplicable how bad that is. And they're averaging roughly 1 in 6 possessions ending in a turnover. That's how bad it is. And they're getting screwed on that end. And then it doesn't help that when the going gets tough, their shooting is skewed towards Bam, Jimmy Butler, and to an extent, none, because none handles the ball a lot. What that's doing is skewing all of their shooting into the DeMar DeRozan category of, we're going to shoot mid-range twos and a lot of points in the paint, which is great. But when you're second in the league or third in the league, I don't know where they land now in terms of 3-point accuracy, but they're up there and they're up among the top teams. It's a crying shame then that you're not really leading the league in 3-point attempts or anywhere close there, right? But, and here's where it all goes to shit. So 43% of all shots from the Miami Heat are 3-point attempts, but they're nowhere close to being league leaders or anywhere close in volume of threes attempted. What does that tell you? They're not shooting enough, man. Those turnovers are killing these guys. They're not getting enough shots off. They're getting the ball plenty of times. They're going down the floor, turning it over, coming back. It doesn't result in a shot of any kind. And that's a problem. So the turnovers are the first piece to fix. Maybe it's a personnel issue. Maybe if they have everyone back fit and their rotations and all of that, they're good. The other problem is they're getting killed off the glass. On rebounds, particularly offensive rebounds, where I think they're the worst in the league or somewhere close. But also on defensive rebounds, it's incredibly Bam dependent. And when Bam doesn't do it, they're screwed. They're not getting those Jimmy Butler triple doubles quite like they used to last season, though he's been balling out. So they're screwed whenever Bam doesn't get it. I think these are the two real holes to plug, in addition to their perimeter defense, which is atrocious. Again, one of the worst in the league. So they're conceding. So you can see a kind of circular philosophy emerging here as to what they need to do, because they turn over the ball, so they don't take nearly as many shots as they should, which is a shame because most 2 out of 5 shots that they take are threes, which they hit very well.
Right.
At that end. And then they never get the ball. They turn over the ball, they come back, and they're not getting enough rebounds. So they're stuck in this loop of we're not getting the ball enough, and when we do, we're just giving away balls cheaply. And that's pretty much it. That's the problem statement.
Do they have the personnel though? So because last season they had Butler and Adebayo, so they still have Butler and Adebayo, but it's a two people team, and Dragic has been on and off. He's been injured since the bubble. Even this season he's been on and off. Kendrick Nunn has got a lot of minutes, and if you remember in the bubble, Kendrick Nunn played like 9 minutes or something before the finals.
Yeah.
He got COVID, and then he lost his place in the starting lineup, and then he lost his place in the lineup. Tyler Hill over, but now due to COVID again. Nice circle there. Kendrick Nunn is back in the lineup. He's handling the ball. He's starting over Dragic. He's actually improved in the last few games. Miami overall have improved from 106 points per game to 112 points per game, which is quite a... 106 was 27th best in the league. So you're nowhere getting near the playoffs with that terrible points per game average. Their defense has improved as well, like you said. They've gone from conceding 110 before to 104 during the streak. So they're improving. But with Butler, Adebayo, and this combination of Nunn, Dragic, or Robinson, Hero, do you think they have the personnel to actually sustain this nice upsurge or uptick that they're having?
Yeah, you know what? I do, because all of this ends in what? The playoffs. That's the ultimate prize here, right? They're trying to get to the playoffs, which I think most people believe they're going to get to the playoffs. Now, the question is, where do they rank? But in the East, at least, this team's not missing the playoffs. Now, with again, as always, assuming all of these guys are fit through for the rest of the season. Now, when they get to the playoffs, they're the same nightmare matchup. When they were conceding, when their defensive rating was 110, that was already 8th best in the league. Even with their shitty record, they were losing games because they weren't scoring even that much. But that was the 8th best defense in the league. And then since they've got all their stars back, their defensive rating has moved up to 104. That should be league leading, if not number 2 or 3 in the league. It'll be very close to where the best in the league would rank, because the Lakers with a 106 average were the number 1 in the league for a long, long time. So the defense is right there. And in the playoffs, that's what matters more than anything else, their ability to stifle teams. Now, what they would need to still work upon is perimeter defense. I don't think they're quite there. Maybe Jimmy Butler coming back changes a lot of that. Because he's just bullish on the perimeter, right? So let's see. Maybe that improves. And if they can keep that up, I have confidence that they're again going to be a nightmare matchup in the playoffs, just because of how stifling they can be. Their real challenge, though, is how do they get going on the offense? Right. If the last few games are any indication, they're trending in the right direction, and then it's just a matter of rhythm, because they have all of the pieces they need, and I'm pretty sure they're going to make at least one move before the trade deadline, possibly for a number 4 forward, anyone who can help them on the glass.
Yeah, you can't really have Kelly Olynyk going into the playoffs in your starting lineup, can you? Because he's not that good enough. So who are your options then? I mean, who would Heat be looking at for this number 4 position? Any one of those big guys who are available, whom we've been talking about in the past few episodes? Drummond, I mean, he's expensive, but Miami are one of the few teams with that cap space. Do they spend it now? Do they spend it next season? Blake Griffin, I don't think he suits that. But DeMarcus Cousins, again, big center, something that would help Heat considerably, and also cheap.
Yeah, so I think Drummond we can just flat out rule out. I don't think he's the kind of player that they go for. And why would you want another Bam, another guy who can't shoot threes, who can't space the floor? They've got Bam. Bam's pretty amazing at what he does, and I'd pick him over Drummond any given day and then twice on Sunday. So then he's out. DeMarcus Cousins, I don't know. I don't think DeMarcus Cousins is going to be this highly valued across the league. Nobody went for him in the waivers. He's cleared waivers now, so he's free to sign wherever. And I don't think there's going to be a feeding frenzy for DeMarcus Cousins. I think there might be a luxury team which can pick him up as a backup option. I don't think anyone's looking at him as a starting caliber player. And also Cousins and Bam, it doesn't work. It doesn't help their spacing, doesn't help their passing game, nothing. So I don't think any of the conventional big men that are reportedly available in the market would fit the bill. I think Miami, what they really need is they're probably going to go back and get a not so high caliber, not so talked about player, but somebody that fits into their system and that can be a part of their culture. I'd look at Sacramento. I think so. First of all, there's too many teams that want a rim protector right now, right? That's probably the number one need, because the league's just so stacked with guards, nobody knows how to protect the paint. So Sacramento have an embarrassment of riches there. Maybe they get back their boy Whiteside, maybe, because he's like second, third option on the Kings, right?
Yep.
Or maybe Bagley's up for a trade.
Yep.
So I'd look at options like that, kind of value for money, players that can come in, fit the work ethic. I think Whiteside would be a good addition. I thought he was pretty impressive last season for Portland, and he'd be a nice add to bring in. But it'll be in that mold. I don't think they're going for the Drummond type.
Talking about guards, the Miami Heat guard roster space is filled up by Dragic and 3 young guards.
Right.
Unintended there. So Dragic, Duncan Robinson, Nunn, and Tyler Hero. Do you think an addition of experience there would help? Someone like Victor Oladipo is up for trade. He's interested in definitely moving to Miami. He's indicated that before. Miami have the cap space. The Rockets have not extended his contract. He's looking for a big payday. Yeah. Anything happening on that front, you think?
The thing with Oladipo is he's on an expiring contract. Is that correct? I think he runs out. Yep. Yeah, okay. So then that's a big risk to take if you have to give up assets to get him. Because then he's a free agent end of the season. And we've said this time and time again, right? Oladipo, we get the sense that Oladipo values himself more than where the market values him. And this has come up a bunch of times now, including, it's not like the Rockets didn't pay him. They offered him a big payday and he turned it down, right? He's one of those guys that's looking for more. So I don't know. It's a big risk to take because you'll give up assets right now if you need to get Oladipo. It's got to be a trade. So you'll give up something to get him. And then when you do, at the end of the year, he's a free agent, unrestricted at that. So then he could walk. And I don't think Miami would value him where he wants to be valued. So that'll be a bad move. Speaking of which, it just occurred to me, they're on the lookout for a 4. They've got some money to give away. I think Collins from Atlanta would be an intriguing piece if they can give up assets for a trade, because I know he's on the lookout for a move. He's not signing an extension either. He wants a payday. I don't think Atlanta want to pay him because they've got to pay Trae Young. How much can you sink, right? So that would be a very interesting piece to pick up. Great player, very athletic, contributes both ends of the floor, solves multiple problems for them. That would be a very, very good fit for the Miami Heat and a great pickup, assuming there's no major fitness concern there.
All right, final question. Where do you see the Miami Heat ending before the playoffs begin?
Same old top 5, and then let's take it in the playoffs.
All right. Like you said, they're a nightmare matchup for anyone they face, be it the Boston Celtics, be it the Miami Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks, they saw it the last season.
If nothing else, they're going to wear someone down, even if they get knocked out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So that was Miami Heat. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a special episode tomorrow. And keep watching. Bye.
Sounds good. Take care. See you.